Have you ever wondered what the prophet Ezekiel was all about? His message, given to the people of Israel during one of their darkest times, is a powerful mix of warning, hope, and a deep look into the character of God. Let's break it down into 5 key parts. First, Ezekiel delivered a strong message of judgment and accountability. The people of Israel had strayed far from God, engaging in idolatry and injustice. Ezekiel's job was to make it clear that actions have consequences. He warned them that the destruction of Jerusalem and their exile to Babylon were not random events, but God's judgment for their persistent disobedience. He stressed that both the nation and each individual would be held responsible for their choices. Second, Ezekiel's prophecies highlight God's absolute sovereignty and holiness. Think of his incredible vision of God on a chariot throne, a scene filled with wheels within wheels and mysterious living creatures. This vision wasn't just a wild dream. It was meant to show that God is all-powerful, majestic, and completely in control of all nations and all history. God's perfect holiness demands justice, which is why sin could not go unpunished. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. This brings us to the third point, the call to repentance and renewal. Even in the middle of these dire warnings, Ezekiel pleaded with the people to turn back to God. He urged them to abandon their idols and live righteously. A key part of his message was the idea of individual responsibility. No longer could people just blame their ancestors for their troubles. Each person was accountable for their own heart and their own actions before God. Fourth, and perhaps most beautifully, Ezekiel's message is saturated with hope and restoration. He didn't just prophesy judgment. He also saw a future where Israel would be restored. He spoke of the people returning from exile, of their covenant relationship with God being renewed. He had visions of a new, glorious temple and a restored land where a purified people would live in peace and obedience to God. One of the most famous passages is the Valley of Dry Bones, where God breathes life back into a dead nation, promising a spiritual resurrection for his people. Finally, Ezekiel understood his personal role as a watchman for Israel. God gave him this specific title. A watchman's job was to stand on the city walls and warn people of approaching danger. If the watchman saw an enemy coming and failed to sound the alarm, he was responsible for the lives that were lost. Ezekiel saw himself in this role, spiritually. He had a divine duty to warn the people of the coming judgment and call them back to safety with God. So, when you put it all together, Ezekiel's message is a profound blend of serious warnings about sin, a passionate call to turn back to God, a declaration of God's ultimate power and holiness, and a comforting promise of future restoration. It's a message that was vital for ancient Israel, and it still resonates with deep truths for us today. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.